All right, everybody. This is SIC Talks number 123. 123. I'm here with DB Burkeman, who is a relatively new friend, but somebody whose acquaintance who we've sort of circled. We've circled each other for decades, probably at this point. DB is a DJ or former DJ and entrepreneur who spent a lot of time working in the music business and now runs the imprint Blurring Books, which is devoted to countercultural subjects, art, music, the like. One of my favorite imprints. I am lucky to have a few of his publications floating around the house, including New York City Restaurants, which former guest of the show, Nikki Eigel, curated and DB brought to the world. Anyway, DB is over in London. Nice to see you, bud. What's going on?
It's really nice to be here and lovely to hear that you are a fan of the imprint.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just think, books are so important to me, generally speaking, as reference material, as moments and moment markers for time, as sort of totems of a particular kind of engagement with culture, the culture that matters to me, and art. Art is a constant subject of fascination for me. Music, former career and always a passion. So yeah, of course I like that stuff. Why would I not?
I remember listening. We only met this year, I think, but definitely have mutual friends that have sort of been in our lives for a long time. And one of the things I loved hearing on one of your shows, I don't even remember which one it was, because I've listened to now all the episodes on both your shows. I'm pretty
you're the only person who's done that.
When I binge something, I really binge it. And I remember hearing you tell the story of you talking to your son about how an article that Spike Jones had written about skating pools had
not sorry to interrupt you, not skating, sneaking into pools, doing pool hopping, sneaking into pools. But yeah.
Oh, it wasn't sneaking in to skate them. They were swimming.
No, it was sneaking in to go swimming.
Amazing. And how your son said, magazines are so cool. And I loved hearing, that's part of my mission in life, is always turning younger people onto things that they might not necessarily be aware of. And I love hearing parents tell stories like that. So it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, you want to, I want to imbue my kids with a feeling of sort of recognition and wonder through objects, because I've gained so much from, that sort of thing. But also just, we in a universe that is so ephemeral and temporary because of the digitalization of everything, to have, physical totems seems to me like an elemental kind of reaction.
Making books affordable is part of our sort of thing. We try not to be, we want to be this sort of antithesis to the status symbol book, where they take years to make, they cost a fortune, and they're bricks, and all they do is live on people's coffee tables or shelves, but nobody's actually reading them. We're trying to make books that are informational and affordable. So
yeah, what led you to books? What was the
I'm an art nerd. I'm a nerd. Okay. Forget the art. I'm a nerd. So I collect shit. My wife calls me a hoarder. I like to think of it as curator. But somewhere in between those two things, I found a passion. And
Can you walk through your apartment?
Yeah. I mean.
Okay, so there's no hoarding involved then. That's like hoarding that's a condition. That's something different.
Yeah, she only mildly gets annoyed when, there's a pile of records or a pile of books, and
of course.
Yeah. But she's very forgiving. I mean, there was a 10-year period when my first book was about the history and culture of stickers. So I would be coming in from work every day covered in stickers that I've peeled off the streets and stick them on the kitchen mirror to hold them there till I could figure out where to place them.
Sure.
There was family annoyance at that after a while, but it gave me a false impression of how easy books are to make, because my first book, there was a bidding war for my first book, which gave me a totally false impression. Oh, I'm a genius. Books are easy. But it was simply timing. It was the moment in publishing when everybody wanted street art. And I had Banksy and Fail and Cause and all the Neckface and all the big players who were making stickers. So the book was, a success and gave me a false impression.
That's interesting. I didn't know that Banksy ever made stickers. I'm aware of everybody else's. I mean, I remember seeing Banksy tags in London in '01 in Shoreditch. Like my first trip ever to East London, going to 93 feet east or trying to find copies of the Shoreditch Twat. And great publication, by the way. One of. Do you know that one?
No, I don't. But what a great.
Oh yeah, you got. It's man, I can't think of the guy's name. I'll have to look it up. But the guy who was the editor of it later became the editor of Sleaze Nation, and then another great long lost publication, although much more of an above the line commercial. Obviously, when you're called the Shoreditch Twat, it's going to be hard to be commercial. But it was as a matter of fact, I think it was even, along with Vice, one of the main inspirations for Nathan Barley, the Channel 4 show about East London hipsters.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
But it's in any case, I discovered it on my first trip to Shoreditch, and around the same time I remember seeing Banksy stencils, like stencil tags, but never stickers.
Yeah. No, he did quite a few stickers, and he gave me permission to include them in the first book, and his people sent me physical stickers, which exist in our ongoing sticker exhibition / history thing project.
Got it. Okay, so just very quickly to return to that. So Shoreditch Twat was published and edited by club promoter Neil Boorman on behalf of the Shoreditch nightclub 333 between 99 and 2004. So anyway, I've got a couple of copies, and you come over sometime and I'll show them to you.
Yeah. Did it have a sort of message as Vice? Like,
well, I mean, broadly speaking, it was satirizing the, sort of RVist hipsters to East London who were beginning to take over what was then Shoreditch, right? This is pre-T building. This is pre, the takeover of Shoreditch High Street. It was just, there was 93 feet east. There was the club, and you'll remember the name of it, where Metalheads happened.
Blue Note.
The Blue. So 93 East, the Blue Note, 333. There were one or two others over there. The Egg was there. The Egg was more like King's Cross, but it was sort of in the zone. Uh-huh. Anyway, that was it. And I would read about these things in The Face or ID, and on my first trip over to England, I was like, I got to get over and see these places. And I found a copy of this weird little zine, and it's hilarious. So
sounds good, yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, so that's how the book thing started.
Yeah. So I did 3 books for a corporate publisher, and after each one, I said, I'm done. I'm never doing that again. It's totally not cool the way they treat creative people, and there's no way to make any money from it that way. And what happened was, I had a very good, successful career in music, working for doing A&R for various companies. Yeah. When COVID hit, all of that stopped. My job did, and I knew that I'm now too old to get another music business job. And that's incredibly ageist industry. Even if you do know more than everybody else in the room, they're not listening to you once you get past a certain age. So I knew I wasn't going to get another job like that. And I thought, well, if I could publish my own books, and I do know a lot of creative people, maybe I can become a publisher, not knowing the first thing about it.
Sure.
We crowdfunded. I did a book about the smiley face, artists who had flipped the smiley face into fine art. It's called The Smile Book. I crowdfunded it. And realized that wow, you can make a book. You don't have to go into your own bank account, family savings. You can use people's generosity and excitement for the project. This is amazing. So we sold 150 books through the Kickstarter, and then I'm sitting on 3,000 books. And I'm like, oh, now what?
Oh, got it.
So
Okay.
I realized that just like Bob Lefsetz says, distribution is king. You got to find a distributor. And I didn't know it at the time, but there were only 5 distributors in America. And there still are only
interesting.
distributors in America. Yes. So I found one that I'd never heard of. It's called Ingram. They're apparently the largest distributor of books in the world, but they're totally B2B. They don't promote themselves in the way that you and I would have heard of them. But if you're a Barnes and Nobles, or if you're a Target, anyway, a year and a half later, me saying, please take me on. I don't know what I'm doing. They said, you definitely don't know what you're doing, but you've got some good ideas. We're going to give you a shot. So they gave me a shot, and we've been with them now 3 years. And we're allowed to sell books directly through blurringbooks.com, which is obviously better for us. But it means that once we give them a title, the metadata, the mechanism distributes it everywhere. So in theory, any bookshop around the country that is a corporate sort of owned entity gets knowledge of it and can bring it in, and it's on their website. So Target is selling my weird books if you want them there.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
How many? Is not many.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask and to our king Bob Lefsetz's point about distribution being king, I think there's a certain mentality around distribution that says I need to control distribution very tightly because I want to make sure that I understand how, or that I'm able to control the way projects are perceived, or making sure they get in the right hands, or that they sit next to the same stuff. I would say blurring strikes me as a much more sort of egalitarian effort where your hope is to get the stuff out there. And that's not a matter of trying to do scale or volume. It's more like just you're excited about the ideas and you want people to receive them.
Totally. I mean, I love hearing, we've heard it from a couple of different bookshops, very different types of shops have independently told us that what we're doing is exciting because young people are picking up art books, and I use art and general music, blah, 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 who have never bought a book before because they're inexpensive, they're friendly, and they're sort of like discovering, like you and I discovered stuff back when we were young. And that is so, like, it's rare now, unless you're going to a printed matter type shop or, a Village Works type shop. If you're in the middle of America, I love the idea that maybe somebody will stumble on one of our books.
Yeah. No, I've written and talked about this. It's like going to the mall and in Syracuse and looking for import titles that were, up in the back of the third rack of the Barnes and Noble magazine section, which at the time was gigantic. Look, those things were a passport into a different world, not to put too fine a point on it, but it's like they were really transportative. Right. And at the same time, we grew up at a time, or I did anyway, where free media, free advertising supported media was also a real currency. Like, it came to New York and it was like, I would go out and get the Village Voice every Wednesday. I would go and get the New York Press every Monday. And that was long form journalism as well as show listings and all of this other stuff. But then there were all of these other little like bits of ephemera and things that you could pick up. And, the Short Swat being an example of it, Vice being an example of it.
Yeah.
Did you get turned on by something like that early on? Or did you come into this kind of art accumulation through some other means?
That's an interesting question. I'm very different from you in that I don't really like or understand magazines. If there's a subject I want to know about,
really interesting. Okay,
subject I want to know about, and it's in a magazine, I'm always frustrated that it's so fluff and not deep.
Interesting. Okay.
I want long form, I think it's called, right? I want like articles about things I'm interested in to be really long and boring, or at least detail orientated and not just over so
looking for more boring stuff. This is what we're going for.
boring's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Deeper.
Yeah. I do.
One of the most seminal magazine experiences I ever had was Tokyon. This is
Sure.
5 years, maybe it's 10 years, I don't know. A while before Beautiful Losers, the book came out. So the book came out before the movie, I believe, right? I think so.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, so before the book came out, Tokyon had this article written, I think, by Adam, what was his name?
Glickman,
where he drew the lines of the Beautiful Losers, basically, how skateboarding, graffiti, music, all interconnected at certain points. And I think it was called, I can't remember the name of the article, but it was a mind-blowing moment for me. And like, I was fairly new in America, knew I loved all these disparate things, but didn't understand how or why they were connected. So that's the only time I've ever gone, fuck, magazines are cool.
Well, shout out to Adam, and shout out to former guest of the show, Ken Miller, who was the editor-in-chief of at Tokyon for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, Alex, go ahead.
Ken was Herb? Is that how I know Ken?
No. Ken was Tokyon.
Okay, right.
No, yeah, Herb was Raymond Roker. Ken and Adam and Alex Wagner, who is now on television, were Tokyon, and then Alex was also at the Fader. Eddie Brannon was at the Fader. There's all that whole gang. Jesse Pearson, who's been on the show, was Vice. But yeah, it's fascinating, right? Like those little bits of those little moments of what we sometimes call scenius, right? Where there's a confluence of creative energies and a proximity that brings people together. And that Beautiful Loser scene, it's like, on the one hand, it's the Grand Royal X Large crew in Silver Lake. It's the luggage gallery scene and the mission school in San Francisco. It's RISD and the gang that led to both Lightning Bolt, and then also guys like Andrew Kuo and Dan Colin and that whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, right. This is how it all congeals.
Totally. And do you think ever have
to look that up?
Do you think there's enough stuff happening that there could be like these underground, unknown kind of culture? Because I have this theory that
I think there are. Go ahead, tell us the theory, and then I'll respond to that.
It's a theory that I think, because the internet, particularly social media, is so instant, that nothing ever has time now to really grow organically and then mature by itself before it's exposed and, in a sense, ruined. So that's kind of my bitter take on social media.
I think two things can be true. I mean, it's funny. I just got served a newsletter this morning from Gunk, which is the Brooklyn-based music zine publication, largely a newsletter or maybe a website or something like that. But also they publish physical collateral from time to time. But they just celebrated their 3rd anniversary at Secret Project Riso Club, which is where risographs. It's like a risograph studio in Ridgewood or wherever.
How to print too. It's an interesting little business they've got going there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think those things exist. I think like we are waiting for the music world to give us another ASAP Mob or another
Sonic Youth.
Like
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I guess Sonic Youth though was not organized as a community collective the way that ASAP Mob was. I'm trying to think of a few other examples like that. But in any case, I mean, I think it's definitely possible. It's just that they burn out so quickly because they get so much oxygen that it's like starting a fire. It's like you give it too much and it just goes up in flames. Anyway, I don't know. I think the thing that I love about your books and just these kind of art books in general is that they are windows into these little subcultural moments that either I may know a little bit about and can dive more deeply into, or I may be discovering for the first time.
Right.
Do you when you go deep on subjects, and I think as a former A&R man you probably would, but are you like going all the way down the rabbit hole in all of your pursuits?
I like to think I do, but I'm probably lying. I'm probably much lazier than I'm making. My last book, which has just gone to print this week, is definitely a very deep rabbit hole. For the last
what's that?
For the last 7 years, I've been collecting people's stories and physical rave flyers from the 90s.
Yes, sure.
So the book is called Illegal Rave Flyers of the 90s, and it's probably going to come out late September. And it's been my sort of thing that I've most focused on for the last 7 or 8 years. First, initially, just thinking about who might have archives. Because I was a DJ in the 90s and moved to, the States in 89, I started playing raves around mid-90s. Maybe a little bit before that, I started getting booked outside of New York. But all of those relationships with promoters and people, other DJs, I reached out to them, and a lot of them had incredible archives.
Yeah.
So I did Q&As with a lot of promoters, a lot of DJs, some serious legends, Kevin Saunderson, Richie Horton. So yeah, it's going to be a great book.
That's cool.
40 pages. It is a monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's huge. What's something like that going to cost at retail?
I think there's 2 versions. There's a inexpensive soft cover, which is $65, and a monster tricked out slipcase thing for $250. But there's only 200 of those.
Wow, got it. And did those go to the people that supported on Kickstarter to begin with, or was some of those be at retail too?
Both. Some people, the Kickstarter. We've done a few books via crowdfunding, but we've never had one that took off like this. We needed.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, the most amount of money we've ever needed. I think we needed $33,000 to print it, because it was back then. It was only 500 pages. We added 40 more pages as people kept sending in more stuff. Do you remember Drop Bass Network? Does that ring a bell?
It doesn't.
Okay, so they were Midwest techno promoters, and I never played for them because they weren't so much into jungle and drum and bass stuff. They were very
sure.
And I couldn't get any of them in the book. I didn't know how to contact them. Right as we were about to close, the 2 main guys that were doing it back then surfaced, so we added their Q&As and their flyers. But yeah, so the Kickstarter, we needed $33,000, which we were nervous about asking for because that's a lot of money, and it's ended up with something like $65,000 of people.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's definitely, as they say, an appetite for this book. The inspiration from those little rave flyer books that you have, the Culper Press, the San Francisco little press books. Somebody sent me one of those, and I sort of skimmed through it, and I went, half of these flyers are mine. I designed these. So I reached out to them with an email with cease and desist as the subject line, just to freak them out. And then I said, guys, these books are amazing. If you ever want to do more, I've got tons of flyers. And so we did a second New York one where I gave
How funny.
Yeah.
How funny. Oh, well, I mean, what a way to make friends there.
Yeah.
Leaning on your experience with lawyers from the music business to know what to say. Jesus. Yeah. What are you discovering lately? I want to. You'll get a kick out of this. So I was upstate over the weekend, and I found this record, Fred Schneider and the Shake Society.
Okay,
you familiar?
Familiar with? No.
Okay, so Fred Schneider is the main male singer from the B-52s.
Aware of that.
And this was a side project that he did with
pre or post.
It's from 87, 84. It's from 84. No, sorry, it's from 84. But so it's post, height of the B-52s,
Totally.
or actually first. It's post first peak, pre Rome and Love Shack and that kind of stuff.
Forget about the MTV era. Yeah, I was in.
Yeah. I mean, right. They were really important, and then they were really huge.
Totally. I was involved with that generation the first time around. By the time that they were MTV faces, I was not interested. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, anyway, tell me about the album.
It's not an album. It's a 12-inch single, and it's got 2 songs on it. One is called Monster, and it's about how he's got a monster in his pants, and it does a naughty dance. It's incredibly stupid. And then the other one is called Boonga, the New Jersey Caveman. And I could not speak to the lyrical content of that one yet. I don't know what it is. But in any case, I found this, and I was just like, all right, I don't need any more records.
The major label that the B-52s were on is who released it?
Yeah, it's on it's Warner.
Right. Warner Repute?
It's Warner. I don't think it's Sire.
I think it's
just Warner.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's but no, it's just Warner.
Okay.
It's just Warner, not one of the sub-labels. But in any case, I was just like, I absolutely do not need any more 12-inch records, at least of all one that's about a monster in a pants. But I was just like, it's $4. I got to get it. And then in flipping through the crates, I then found something called Human Sexual Response.
Wow.
Remember these guys?
No, that looks interesting though. What is that?
So they are sort of British post-punk indie from the early 80s. This is from 81 on Passport Records.
Oh, great label.
And not on Spotify. YouTube, but not Spotify. So it's like there's
kind of thing Max loves to discover. Like he gets such a thrill of finding stuff on YouTube that is cool. It's usually UK, and it came out and it's not on Spotify. That's right. How he is joy.
Well, it's just so all right. So now we know what Max is interested in discovering. What have you discovered recently that is catching your fancy?
Really, he's my plug. There was a point where, I was getting a lot of joy from turning him on to shit till he was 14, 15. And then we stopped talking about music. And then now he's feeding me everything. I mean, I'm trying to think what has recently come across my... Yeah, I hate this question because my mind just goes blank. I know there's lots of... I mean, I've been buying Burial records while I've been in the UK, but that's not new music to me. That's probably my favorite electronic producer of the last 20 years. And I've just been filling in the blanks on the collection. But recent, I don't know.
Well, but so as I'll give you a lifeline. I'm going after this conversation. I'm going up to Christie's to see the show of work made by Christie's employees. This is a sale that they do annually. As a matter of fact, the London one starts in 2 days. But I've watched the digital preview. I don't know if there's anything there that's going to really strike me in the room, but I want to go see the things in person because who knows?
Like a traditional Christie's auction.
Yep. They're auctioning it tomorrow. And the price points are really, there's stuff that's there's stuff that has a starting bid of $100. You know what I mean? It's like,
totally.
As you'd expect from people who aren't pedigree artists.
Sure.
Most of them are trained. Most of them are, involved there for a reason. But I just wonder if there's anything like that you've stumbled across that you've been like, oh fuck, this is awesome.
Well, I went to, my other sister Bree took me to the Royal Academy, which has an annual summer show in London. And that's the similar kind of idea. It's people submit work, and if it gets approved, it gets hung on the wall. And they don't have to be famous artists. It's like, so the range is, again, $100 to $1 million. You got Tracy Emin on one end and then a bunch of cats on the other wall. But it's...
always the cats.
Yeah, there are a lot of cats. If you want to get in that show, dogs or cats, that's how you get in there.
Right, yeah. Oh, man. Well, no, it's fine. I mean, part of the reason I ask is because, I discovered the artist Mark Mulroney because of you, although I didn't realize it at the time. You curated a show, or maybe like produced a show of his work at the Paradigm offices when it was still Paradigm. And I went for a meeting with Joe Rosenberg and saw all of Mark's stuff, and I was like, oh wow, this guy's great. I like this.
Right.
And then he moved to Syracuse shortly thereafter, and it was just like, oh, now there's a sort of a connection. So yeah,
Have you met Mark?
We met at his show at Mrs. Where he did the Superman show. The Superman
I
show.
was there too with Max. That's funny. We could have been in the same room and not realized.
I think we must have been.
Yeah.
Well,
so
anyway,
Mark's great, and we're working on several ideas for books.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
He's telling you this story because I forgot a second. I got hired by Industrious Studios. Do you know Industrious? It's like a WeWork type situation where they take over a building. So they've just recently taken over 190 Bowery, which is the building that the photographer, where Supreme is, on Bowery, right?
The famous, right. The famous incredible mysterious building, on the corner of Spring and Broadway.
There's an incredible documentary called, I can't remember, but if you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it. Anyway, they hired me to help them make it look cool and not corporate, which is what I do. And Mark and I work closely together and hung just on one floor. It's all Mark's work. So there's
cool
floor that looks absolutely beautiful and bonkers. Like it's it's great.
He's I love. I mean, Mark is one of those. He's very much in the pocket for me because of the confluence of, humor, satire, comics, fine art technique, portraiture, pastiche, collage. He's just
really
he's an excellent. He's an excellent painter, but he's also painting really dumb shit a lot of the time, and it's that admixture really appeals to me. The high low of it.
The high low.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the tagline for Blurring Books. The high low of it. I might steal that.
Yeah. But I mean, help yourself. Help yourself.
Our tagline is "No coffee table required," but I kind of like the high low of it.
Yeah, I mean, my gift to you. But it is intriguing. So what else is on the agenda then for Blurring? Like, so the sticker book comes next, or not sticker book? Sorry, the Rave Flyer book comes next, and then is it more printed ephemera? Is it more photographs? Like, you were very generously gave me your book of photographs from your youth in London. What comes next?
There's so many titles in the pipeline. I'm frightened I will list some and get others and be in trouble. I do know that we have something called pandemic architecture, which you might find interesting. This architect worked in the same place as I work, told me that she'd been photographing the restaurant sheds during the lockdown. So she has this incredible archive of the best and the worst. So we made this book called Pandemic Architecture, which comes out shortly. That one's gone to print and is getting distributed soon. Your visual is frozen, Ben. I don't know if that is going to affect the recording.
It will not.
Okay. What else is coming? Oh, you did mention stickers. So our most successful book so far on Blurring is a sticker book that I made, which is purely peel out stickers. I went to 42 artists, from unknown friends to Jackson Pollock estate and Joseph Olber's estate, and said, I would like to make stickers of the art. And some said yes, some said no, but we ended up with this unbelievable sticker book, peel out sticker book, that the MoMA carries and the Tate Modern carries and all these wonderful museums carry around the world. We have a volume 2 of that scheduled for the fall.
Oh, that's excellent. And is that similarly like an equally Catholic range of artists, or is it more focused?
It's the high low of it. Yeah, they're blurring of a lot of things. This iteration probably has more extremes. Rothko, I mean, it's nuts. The people.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, it's really. I'm sort of
Yeah, that's really cool. It's interesting. I mean, I'd imagine this is the state of the modern artist, foundation or artist estate is trying to figure out, how do I maintain for my namesake artist a kind of currency and presence in a market when I have gotten so removed from the everyday consumer. Like, maybe I might cycle through on a show, or maybe I might be in a permanent collection, but otherwise I'm just hanging in Ken Griffith's penthouse in Midtown.
It's interesting because the ones that said no, and there were only a couple, but those were living artists who are so big that I don't know if, first of all, I don't know if the artists themselves ever saw the request, because there are so many levels to get to them. It could have been somebody that said, oh no, we're not doing that. But the ones that are interesting that do say yes are usually the estates whose children or somebody managing the estate knows that the real collectors have aged out. Those people are not buying, street type books. So this is a way to tap into a much younger demographic. So I love hearing from parents of kids who, bought the book for the kid, and the kid has discovered Marilyn Minter or Raymond Pettibone, or it's cool. And Joseph Albers, and as I said, now Mark Rothko, and
Amazing. Well, like I said, I'm going to be in Midtown to look at that Christie show later, so I'll swing by the MoMA book and grab. I will. All right. Well, DB, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks for taking the time. This has been really fun.
I mean, I was really nervous about doing this. I mean, it needs to,
there's nothing to be nervous about.
To state that of all the shows I've listened to, I'm unquestionably the most uneducated guest you've had, and also the least eloquent. So
I disagree with both of those statements, but I listen, if that's the way you want to, humbly go into this.
Formal education, that's not a stretch. I dropped out of school at 16, thinking I was going to be the next David Bailey or a famous photographer, and didn't happen.
I mean, listen, former guest of the show, Chris Black, dropped out thinking he was going to be the next seller of sneakers in a mall in Atlanta. So, I think you're all right. Anyway, so DB, where do people find you? I mean, so blurringbooks.com is one place. Where else?
Best place to buy the books. Or you support your local bookshop, of course. That's really important. I have a personal Instagram, which is just my name, but I'm pretty boring. Blurring Books Instagram is Blurring Books NYC.
Got it. Okay. I don't follow it on Instagram. I'm going to go do that right now.
Okay.
All right.
There's also a rave flyer book one if you're interested in rave shit. There's also a stickers one called Stuck Up Official. There's too many Instagram accounts for me to manage, I tell you.
All right. Well, in any case, we should, if you are interested in all of this stuff as I am, you will follow all of those. And in the meantime, look out for Blurring Books, and definitely the Rave Flyers of the 90s sounds really awesome. So looking forward to that hitting the market soon.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right. Well, DB, of course. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Okay.